Oh shit. Mm. Hey guys, I'll just be starting in a few minutes. Oh, and if you're tuning in from my newsletter, feel free to pop on and say hey. I know it's a little bit late for some of you guys in Europe. Oh, hey David. Glad that you're here for a little bit. What time is it now, your time? I think it is you're a couple behind, so 3:30. So you got like a half an hour. Probably that's as far as it's gonna, probably that's as long as it's gonna go. Um, oh, hey Joy, glad to see you. Good, good, good. And oh, please let me know if my volume is okay, because last time my volume was really crappy, so I want to make sure that you can hear me okay. So yeah, let me know, David. Or Joy. Volume great on Behance. Okay, cool. Let me go ahead. Oh my gosh, I am joining the future. Finally, I'm so freaking excited because I finally took like 5 minutes to program my stream deck. So I've got my fancy starting soon stream video and all of this, and maybe I'll program some more things as I go. But anyway, this is going to be fall week, so I'm really excited to share some fall brushes, fall color palettes, whatever. Okay, this is going to be my first changing my scene. So let's get into my Photoshop here, see if it changes. All right, standard. Okay, good. I'm excited. I'm like all getting all technical here and everything. Just loving it. Okay, so, oh, Jutta, I was always thinking about you because I know you're always saying hi. I know it's so late there, but the rest of the week I'm going to be streaming like at 1:30 p.m. in the Eastern time, so it should be okay. But I'm always happy to see your little messages and to say hey. But I think for today's, I'm going to show the free brushes that I'm going to be giving away from my Artistic Autumn collection and kind of like refreshing about the Artistic Autumn brushes. But I also made this little like crazy background when I was just playing around, and maybe it will give you guys some ideas on something to do. But I am curious for those of you, and it's very maximalist, okay? But at the heart of it is my pattern painter pattern sort of stamp or whatever. But so there is a pattern in there underneath all of the layers or whatever. But I'm curious if to see if those of you that are tuning in, if you like this version of it, which these colors are, these are from my Artistic Autumn collection, but they're really rich. I picked some rich ones for this one. But I'm curious if you like the yellow background or like the tone on tone, because whenever I started it, it was like more tone on tone and just to be like really subtle. Um, so yeah, so and then I'm playing with these things. Okay, you love the yellow. I'm glad that you like that. Okay. So after I'm always just playing with some ideas, and then I have to, before I go live or do my tutorial, I have to go back and see if I can recreate it, because I'm always changing the changing the brushes up, or I don't know if that's going to be the final version. So I don't always like save every brush as I'm going along. Okay, so we have a consensus. We're going to do the yellow. Okay, so we're going to vibe with that. We're going to go with it. And yeah, so we'll get into that in a second. I'm going to do this is actually going to be a quick tutorial with that. So for the main tutorial, we're going to use my Glitch Core Photoshop brushes, and then also my my pattern painter brushes that I just released. And yeah, so I've got that. It's very over the top, but I love it. And then I just was playing around with my Artistic Autumn collection and brushes and color palettes. So I'm going to be playing around with my fall color palettes and my fall brushes all week. So if you're not already like following along, make sure you follow me, get notifications whenever I go live, and make sure everybody can download a sampler from this brush collection. So what I love, most of you guys who are tuning in from the newsletter are familiar with my color blending brushes. So I don't go over it in every tutorial, but I do have a link down below if you are new to this technique or you need to get up to speed. So check that out. But I'm just like right now looking at my Artistic Autumn color palettes. And what I love about my pattern stamp collection is, I can sample colors from images. I can have multiple colors that are not related. And so for all of these color palettes for my Artistic Autumn, I sampled these from like photographs, from images like forests and foliage, and edited them a little bit, but most of these are sampled directly from photographs. So they've really got that blend of colors that is like very realistic. So it's just a super hack. They're great. And the brushes are great for all kinds of things. Of course you could go realistic, but also a lot of us are doing more abstract things. And so they're great for backgrounds, even like if you have vectors and you want to put some color behind it. There's so many different good uses. Good night, Anderson. Hello and good night. But yeah, so I picked out 5 of these color blends from my collection, and that's in the sample download, and then also 3 brushes. And I'll just demo those for you right now. But also just a reminder, if you're new to these brushes too, you can go to, I'll have the link down below, and you can download 5 more of these color blending brushes directly on Adobe Creative Cloud. And it's this, this is the collaboration that I did with Adobe. But I did want to point this out really quick before I get into my tutorial, is that they actually have the wrong brushes at the top of this page. So scroll down here. I have to contact them, but scroll down here and you can download the Impressionist brush sampler, and you can get some of these here. So yeah, let's go in and I'm just going to quick sample a couple of those brushes and show these. It might give you guys some ideas for these Artistic Autumn brushes. But first of all, let me show the brushes that I'm giving away for free. So it's brush 33, 53, and 61. And here you can see, oh, of course, I'm not going to go over all of this because most of my followers already know the pattern stamp technique, but I've got my pattern stamp tool selected, and I'm going to go up, and these are all my color palettes. But here's the 5 color palettes that you can download for free. Hey Joyce, glad to see you. And yeah, so here's brush number 33, and I'll use it with like the first color palette that I have for free. And just to give you guys some ideas here. So this is like a very foliage-esque brush, a bit subtle. It could be great for backgrounds, or even if you're doing like a scene, you know, you can layer over like, you know, your illustrations and stuff. That's brush number 33. And of course, all the colors are coming out, multiple colors are coming out and everything. And then here is brush number 53. It's soft, it's gentle, you know, it's cool. Of course, for all of these, I could have, I did these so many years ago, so probably now I'm looking at them and I go, oh, I could refine them a little bit more, but anyway, what can you do? And then I have this one, I'm just gonna stamp out this. This is more of a stamper brush, but this can be good like to do some stamp and silhouette sort of thing. So maybe I would stamp this out, and then I can go to my, what is this lot called? The transparent pixels, I forget exactly. And then like I could go over this and, you know, with my multicolor brush and have a cool design. So those are 3 brushes that everybody can download for free. And then I'm just gonna quick pop into my artistic autumn brushes and just give you a little taste of these. Let's see here. Let me make a new layer. And if you guys have any questions or anything, just let me know. But here you can see we've got some really cool brushes in this collection. I'm just gonna quick go down and just show a little bit. This collection is a bit underrated because I've got some brushes in here that are very foliage related. There's probably like 50-50, but some of them are very just great artistic brushes that I use all the time. I think brush number 23 is one of my faves. This is like a very soft sort of brush, and I just think it looks super cool. Joyce, yeah, that's why I wanted to do this little like kind of review, is to sometimes you forget like how cool some collections are. So you're like, oh yeah, there's some flipping cool brushes in this collection. So, you know, you can layer, good for like surface designs. Let's just go through. Here's one of the color palettes. Let me zoom out some of these. Let's see, I need to zoom out just a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna go a bit fast here because I don't want you guys to be like waiting too much for the main tutorial. Maybe after the tutorial, I'll just come back to these brushes and just kind of vibe with them. But super fun. Let's see here, what's some of my faves? Number 4, I use a lot. Let's see here. And some of these color palettes I just think are so gorge, you know. The sampling them from photos, you get all these colors, and it's just, I think has such a richness. I just dig. This one's quite cool. It's got a bit of like those edges, those kind of wet edges. It's a bit fun. I like this one. So yeah, let me just fly through these. But they are artistic, they are autumn. There's just a big variety. And then we'll get into the tutorial. So I want to keep these short and sweet and not drag them on too much. And yeah, oh, thanks, Anderson. Yeah, they have a lot of texture in the brushes. And I like layering multiple brushes on top of each other. So yeah, I'll be playing with these all this week. So just pop in and maybe I'll go live later on and stuff. But I'm going to stick to this one tutorial right now, this one. And since everybody was in accordance that we like the yellow pop behind it, we're going to get started on this. So let me just, I'm going to take 2 layers. This is just my little quick hack here. Or wait, let me go. Window, arrange, 2 up vertical. And so I want to kind of keep that one as a little reference layer. So I just did this just a bit ago. And this is my scratch. Now I'm going to just take my bottom two layers. I'm going to right click, duplicate layers, and just make a new document. And let's drag it over here. So that's what I do when I'm in a hurry. And let's see here. So, all right. So first thing we do, let's see here. What am I going to do first? First, I think I'm just going to cover the background with a solid color or fairly solid. Gosh, now I don't even remember exactly which. I think I used this color palette here. I'm going to hover over in my Artistic Autumn collection. Oh my gosh. Normally if you hover over these, it'll show the number. Okay, 21. I think this was it. So, yeah. I am going to grab, now this is the main brushes in this tutorial is my glitch core brushes, which are available to my Behance subscribers. And let's see here. Hang on just one second. I think I saved some of these. Okay. So I'll add the touch of yellow at the end, but for first we're going to do tone on tone. That's how I originally started it, but finally I did like the pop of yellow. So for the first brush, I'm grabbing my glitch core brush number 53. Yeah, this is a fun brush. These brushes are wild. And there's still so many things I want to do with these brushes. So we're just going to fill the background with this brush stroke. And I'm going to push, I don't want to have too many of those little stake things here, but we just got this nice, funky, glitchy sort of background. And these glitch core brushes, again, if you haven't checked them out, make sure you check them out on my Behance profile. And so the first thing that I wanted to do was I was going to do a tone on tone pattern. So I'm going to make a new layer above this. And then without changing my color palette, I'm going to grab one of my new pattern painter brushes. And I want to say, oh no, I didn't take this one. Let me see which one I did. All right. Maybe it was this one. No. It's one of my leopard ones. Okay. Oh, here it is. So it's leopard 4 from my pattern painter. And now I can just go, these pattern painter brushes are color blending. So you can just, paint them and you'll have these beautiful color blends. But I don't want that as my final look. So I'm just going to paint it out. So now I've painted out my pattern on there. And then now I'm going to make a new layer above it and create a clipping mask. And let me refer back here and hopefully yeah. Okay, so it looks like I used brush 74 in my glitch core collection, but you don't have to use exactly the same one that I use. You can just grab a different one, but I'm trying to kind of do the same thing as my sample. So I'm gonna grab the glitch core brush 74 and I made a new clipping mask because I want to work non-destructively. So if I want to change it or whatever. Oh, thank you so much, Mirja. And I'm super glad to see you. I think you're in Europe, aren't you? So it might be late there, but I wanted to say hey. Okay, so this is a funky glitch core brush. And now I am just painting over this pattern. And now I'm just getting this really cool effect. And so I've got 2 different glitch core brushes and this cool sort of effect, but you still feel the pattern in here, so it's subtle, it's crazy, whatever. And then what I wanted to do, I knew that I wanted to add just a little bit of a drop shadow to that, just to add some dimensionality in this sort of background design. So I'm just going to right click and copy my layer style and paste it here just to be fast. So it's just a small drop shadow and you can adjust it for your own design, and just make it like whatever you want. So I did that. And now what do I do? Oh, so now what I like about the pattern painter brushes is I have a couple of them that are leopard. And so on one of the brushes, you have the leopard print, and then on the complementary brush you've got um, the spots. So I'm just going to go back to my pattern painter brushes and grab that. It's leopard 4 spots behind, and I want those spots to be in gold, so it's hard for me to do a design without a little bit of gold. Um, oh, Joyce, so the first brush that I started with, you mean for the background, was the Glitch Core Brush 53. So I will, as I go through, after the tutorial, I will have the demo PSDs available for my Behance subscribers, and I'll try to mark the layers. But even if I can, I'll try to write down below in the description all the things that I used. So yeah, we've got the pattern painter brush leopard spots, but we want it in gold because it's hard for me to make something without gold. So I'm gonna go to add one of my gold layer styles from my Celestial Gold Mine collection, which are gorgeous, by the way, but you could use a gold digital background and a clipping mask, so, as you like. But yeah, so I'm just gonna put one of the golds on. I don't know if it's gonna be my favorite gold. Let me just flip through my layer styles. I think I used gold 8. So now when I paint in this pattern painter brush, I'm going to see the gold little leopard, the dots that are behind the leopard print. So as I paint. So I like to put the layer style on first, and then I see it as I work. So you can't really mess up there. And if you're not in the habit of using layer styles, definitely check out my foundation tutorial below, because you can do a lot of cool things with layer styles. It's the only way that I can, between my brushes and my layer styles, it's the only way that I can create things, because I have no actual drawing ability. So, but I think a lot of people are kind of the same. So I can show you how to make cool things, taking into account the power of Photoshop. So anyway, so that is that. And now I made this, we're going to go ahead and do this squiggly brush stroke here over the top. And I just thought it added something cool. So you can see we're just building layers. Let me undo here. And, all right, let's scoochy this over. And let me see what brush. Okay, so it's brush 35. Gosh, now let's see here. So let's make a new layer above everything. No clipping mask necessary. I'm gonna grab my pattern stamp tool. I'm wondering which color palette I used. I think it's this one here that I had used before. But when you're doing it, play around, and it's just to give you guys some ideas. So kind of get you a jumping off point. And a lot of these things that I'm doing are just like that. It's a jumping off point to get you guys going. And I love giving ideas, but and I don't like to finish things, so that's why I like doing tutorials, because it's just I'll just do enough to give you an idea and then just say, okay, you do something fun with it. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I liked how it turned out. So let me just grab brush 35 and let us do some squigglies. I think that's it. Anyway, it's kind of tone on tone. I could use a different color even if I wanted to be crazy, but I think I'm just going to stick with the same one. So I was using the same color palette a lot, which is why it feels like quite cohesive. And this brush is just crazy. So I love making that sort of, so that's cool. we're just going to say, okay, good enough. So, it's like basically you got the background layer, you've got the pattern layer. Now we've got an accent on top. Now we're going to add another layer below the pattern. Okay, so adding a new layer below the main pattern layer. And I think I saved my tool here. Let me just see. I think it was this one. I really have to start. Um, yeah, oh gosh. And I'm trying to see which brush it was. Oh, I think it's brush 61. Okay. So I'm going to grab brush 61. And by the way, if you guys are not familiar with my, okay, good. And it has, if you're not familiar with my glitch core brushes, check out my Behance in my live stream. I'm sure I should have even a freebie on there. But these brushes are really cool. I did a lot of demos with them and they're funky. It's on trend. This was definitely a trend. And I made flowers. I made all kinds of things. So I already have tutorials on that. Okay, so this one, I grabbed the glitch core brush 61. I took it down a little bit, the size, hitting my left bracket. And then I grabbed this kind of, this color palette right here in my collection. Let me hover and wait eternally while the number pops up. Okay, it's 39. And I just had added some oh no, yeah. Okay, so I added some swirls behind the pattern and I love how that's building up. I'm already in love with it. I think it's rich, it's crazy, but it feels, cohesive, whatever. And then now we'll add this touches of yellow. So I'm going to add between that last layer I made and the background one layer. And let's see here. Okay, it looks like I used brush 43 from this collection. And let's just take a look-see. 43, and I definitely used a lighter layer style, like more of a yellow, orange sort of layer style. I'll just grab this one and see, you can grab whichever one. That does not look bright enough. This is a fun brush. Got all those gorgeous streaks in there. This is one of the contained ones too, but you can fill up the whole background like that. And let me just check everything. Okay. I'm gonna see trying to find the same palette. That one looks pretty good. Okay. So let's hover. 65. Okay. So let's go back here and I might make it bigger. So we can just add some, oh my gosh, so it's very junglicious. Yeah, it's not exactly the same, but I'm just going with it. Okay, there's a lot of layers in there. That's like a little bit crazy, but anyway, so that is how I did that design. So we've got at the core of it was the artistic autumn artistic autumn palettes, and and of course we use the pattern painter brushes for the pattern inside of it. But we used mainly what you're seeing is the glitch core brushes. So I think that's really fun. And don't forget, you can like all of my color blending brushes, my multicolor brushes work together. So you can use the colors from the Artistic Autumn with the Modern Impressionist or with the Feather Couture or with the Glitch Core or the Iridescence. There's so many different ones. But yeah, like if you guys have any questions, let me know. So I'm just going to be jumping on here all week. to do more fall inspired things. I think it'll be really fun, and most of them will be just little simple things to kind of get your ideas flowing. Like for example, this is one I was playing with later or earlier today, and I actually, for my artistic autumn, I turned them into wet brush palette for my wet mixer brushes. And I think I never actually shared these palettes. So what I'm going to do is I will update my products. So I will update the wet paint mixer brushes as well as the artistic autumn brushes, even though those are just mainly the pattern stamp brushes, with these color palettes in case you guys want to use them. I'll be updating those products maybe tomorrow. But I just realized that I made this for myself, but I didn't actually put that in any product. So I have these wet paint mixer brush palettes, and I took one of my, I used mainly one brush from my, I think it was brush number 4 from my wet paint mixer brush set. And so I just created these very simple leaves. It's very simple to do. I should actually I guess I could probably show you really quick. I won't do the whole layout, but just to show you the brush strokes really quick. And of course, anybody has to pop off, no worries. Let me duplicate these layers onto a new, okay. So I'm just gonna quick show you while I'm on it. This will be the last thing that I show. So we're gonna get the Wet Paint Studio. I want to say it's brush number 4. And I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to go over to my wet palettes, and I will just hover over one of them, like here. So I'm going to Option or Alt if you're on a PC. Option click. Make sure you're on the right layer. I'm going to Option click, and that little palette will load into my brush. And then so then I can just make let's just zoom in here. Ooh, not that much. I can make some really, oh Lord. Okay. Forget which, or let me just grab this. Okay, let's have the gold ones for reference. Where is it? Okay. So these and I take because with these brushes, I think it's nicer if you take the brush smoothing up to like about 50%. And then I just made some very simple leaves like that. And so that's how I made all these leaves over here. You know, I kind of sketched it out and did different colors and put these leaves together like that. So they were all, so you have that autumnal sort of palette. But what's cool is with the wet brushes, they just mix so beautifully. And so I did, oh, that's a little intense. Which one was I on? 4? Okay. So you get the idea here. Maybe I'll just make this into a separate tutorial, but that is how I made those with, essentially it was brush number 4 from my Wet Paint Studio. And then also I accented it with some of my new gold play brushes, which are in development. They're available for my, right now for my Behance subscribers or Patreon if you're still on Patreon. And then I'm hoping to also finish those and have them a public release soon. So I think behind that sort of little leaf thing, I used one of my shiny brushes like this. So I just did a little swirl behind it. If you haven't, if these brushes are new to you, go check out some of my live streams that I've done before with my gold play brushes. Had a lot of fun with those. So we added the gold stroke behind it, and then above it I accented it with like this star brush, and all I added was a little bit of drop shadow, some of those drop shadow styles that I added with that collection. So I had this little star, that star brush accent. and then I just took a couple accents from my little fuzzy brushes, um, these little dotty brushes here, and same thing. So I just accented them around, just a few brush strokes, but it looks really fun, really cool. Adding a little bit of the drop shadow adds some of the dimensionality. So I'll have this, yeah, I think this might be a bit boring to just do its tutorial by itself, but I'll have that PSD for my Behance subscribers. So maybe that'll give you an idea for your own thing. So you could make something really nice for fall, like a invitation or with some leaves on the side. Could be quite nice. And then one thing that I was just messing with, I'm not in love with it or anything, but just playing around. I'll show you my embarrassing things I'm playing around with, just because maybe it'll get your things going. And we don't want to judge ourselves. So I was just playing with this sort of. This is a bit messy. It looks a little like surrealist, I think, to me, but I was just playing with this idea of some very thin, like a background or some art with like very thin, stylized trees, and then playing with layering some of my artistic autumn brushes for the foliage. And then I thought, oh, with all that, the autumn colors, it would be nice to have that blue background like a night sky. And then I added some of my starry brushes. So I was just playing around, but I'll be playing around with these brushes for the rest of the week. So you could just join me here, and we'll be having a lot of fall fun and just also showing you how you can do backgrounds that are, or even some, what do you call it? Some illustrations, simple illustrations. And the main thing about my tutorials is that all the stuff that I'm showing you, you don't have to have any special drawing ability. So maybe we'll do some, invitation designs or doing some maybe fall bouquets. If you have any suggestions or there's something you want to see, just let me know. And also, let me just see here. Don't forget, if you're brand new, you can go to Adobe Creative Cloud and get 5 of these brushes um, to play with and have fun with, and use the free downloads with. So check that out. I've got the artistic autumn brushes on my site. They're on sale just this week because I'm going to be playing with them. And I'm trying to share like things that I think are nice, but I just got an email from my friend Set Stale, Sam Parrott, and he has a free chunky brush out. And in case you don't get his newsletter, be sure to check him out. But it's at salestudios.com. So he's one of my resource creating compatriots. So got to give him a shout out. But I just saw that on the email, so I was going to tell my followers. And yeah, download the freebies for everybody, and then I'll have the PSD files of this that I'll attach for my subscribers. And I'll be adding some new things for subscribers, some new exclusive brushes um, this week. So I'll have some new content exclusively for my subscribers. Oh, Creative Life, good to see you. For the palettes, actually, if you go down below in the description, I have got a whole blog post all about how to create your own palettes. And so you can check that out. You can sample from photos, or you can just, create them from scratch. So I've got a very thorough blog post tutorial series all about that. So that's down below. And thanks for everybody from joining from my newsletter. I'm super happy to see you guys here. I think David already went off for his Zoom. So, and thanks Joyce and Jetta and Mirja for giving me a little shout out. So I'm going to pop off and walk the dog, and then maybe tomorrow my next scheduled live is 1:30 p.m. and we'll be doing more fall play, and maybe I'll pop back online. Thanks so much. Okay, now I'm excited because I get to, rather than having to open up my OBS on screen for you guys all to see, I get to use my very fancy new Stream Deck. So I'm going to put the end screen on and say thank you to everybody, and I'll talk to you next time. I'll be live streaming tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern Daylight Time. see. Yay.